Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Payments and Transactions session, moderated by Dimitris Litsikakis, Chief Executive Officer of deVere e-money, with the participation of James Camilleri, co-founder and CEO of Fyorin, Thomas Papapolyzos, CEO and founder of a-quant, Aleksandra Šćepanović, Head of Business Development of PaySpot.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for choosing this amazing panel over the other. and I hope that, even if you had lunch and you're feeling a little bit sleepy, this innovation session will shed more light into the payments and transactions, and through the presentations that we're going to listen and hear, and the conversation, of course, we will start to understand a little bit what other companies are doing across Europe, basically. We have representatives from Serbia, from Greece, and from Malta. So to me, this is a very interesting moment where we can start the conversation on a pan-European level. And thank you once again to Agni that put this all together. Thank you very much. Okay, so maybe we can start, ladies first, and we can have the first presentation from Aleksandra, and we'll just take it from there. Thank you. Well, unless
it's the opposite.
Unless we start from the other side. Okay. Well, I tried to be a gentleman, but all right. Okay. Okay, James, let's go. We start with you.
This?
Let's do Fyorin, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitris. Hello, everyone. So Fyorin, let's start from embedded finance. And we talked about innovation and alternative finance here. But what is embedded finance and for financial institutions? I mean, we've seen that, or we're seeing that a lot of things are being said about embedded finance and how brands can actually turn into fintech companies, and it's a $1 trillion industry. However, from a financial institution perspective, is this a threat or opportunity? I mean, what we're seeing now is that there are a lot of banking as a service providers that are actually out there, and they're trying to serve non-fintech brands. And in reality, according to research, banks are actually seeing this as a threat, because they are seeing that if they don't evolve, their main assets, which are the clients, are actually going to leave. And then they're going to actually be felt like just a piping. So how can financial institutions actually compete with fintechs? How can they turn embedded finance into an opportunity for them? And we believe that they can actually do this by creating a business banking network scheme. And what does this mean? So essentially what this means is that this scheme will create a bi-directional model where, as a financial institution who already have a network of SMEs, an existing network of SMEs, can actually do two things. Through the scheme, they can actually participate into the network so that other financial institutions can leverage on their own capabilities, right? On their core services. So that will increase revenues for their main business. But on the other hand, if they want to bring in innovative products to the market faster to their SMEs, instead of building everything in-house, instead of taking more risk for products that they actually don't know if they are going to work with their network of SMEs, why don't you actually use the network scheme by leveraging on other capabilities from other financial institutions and bring in to the market faster products? And this is essentially how we believe at Fyorin we can empower financial institutions, whether they're small, whether they're big, to actually compete with fintechs, to be relevant again in this fragmented market. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like James because he's quick and sweet, right to the point. Let's see if Thomas is also like that. Thomas, the floor is yours.
No, not so. Let's see. Okay. First of all, a small introduction of who we are. We are a nice mix of people that having worked in hedge funds and some people, let's say, geeks that produce algorithmic models and machine learning models for prediction. So what we do, we build finance applications for investing and trading, idea generation, where we use a lot of data and our experience from 30 years of trading and investing. And our clients are mainly individuals, SMEs, and some large hedge funds. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about currency cost and risks for small and medium enterprises and individuals. Is this a problem for them? Yeah, it's a very big problem, especially in the era of globalization. So we believe that there's a big need to provide all of them, not so much the bigger institutions and multinationals, because they have already in place processes, systems, and very expensive data in order to mitigate the currency risks. But what about individuals when they send money abroad in different currencies, or small and medium enterprises? So this is a very big problem for them. So some statistics, we have $6.6 trillion daily in FX transactions. Many of them are in emerging markets, and 30% of them are in the spot market. So what are the foreign currency risks for SMEs? We can see that the risk can account sometimes even to 19% of revenues. So especially for SMEs that are trying to expand internationally in different countries, for example, a European company or a US company goes to Asia, where you have emerging market currencies which are not so stable, the risks are very big. For example, 19% in your revenue for a business that has profit margins of less than 20% means that it's going to eradicate your whole profits for the whole year just from FX transactions. So we can see some other statistics. I won't bother you very specifically about them, but it is indeed a very big problem, especially for SMEs. So what we do about? We are trying to build a system that uses machine learning prediction models in order to optimize, to forecast exchange rates in 1 week, 1 month, and 1 year period in order to mitigate the risks, and then to optimize and provide automated alerts for businesses when is the optimum time and what is the optimum way in order to make this kind of transactions. The market is very big. We have around 50 million small and medium enterprises worldwide that are not served right now. We believe that they can have more than 20% in their FX transaction costs, and which is something that it will mitigate the risk, and it's going to equalize it with usual transaction risks in the same currency market. So we have also another one problem behind the SMEs, the currency problem for individuals in the global remittances market. So a guy here in Greece that is from Pakistan and wants to send money back to his relatives usually has very, very big costs. Let's see some of them. The transfer fees are more than 1%. The spread, the bid-ask spread in the currency is 6.5%. He doesn't know anything about the exchange rate trends. It's a non-transparent process, and he doesn't have any kind of tactical strategy when to send them, what to see, and what to avoid. So what we have done, we have built an application. We have the a-quant application, which is downloadable from App Store and Google Play. Right now, it gives you trading signals and investing ideas for commodities, FX, and US stocks and cryptos. One of the tools that we have is FX forecasting, which can be used by individuals in order to program and to optimize their FX transactions. The solution exists, as I told you before, it's downloadable right now. It goes very well, actually. We have a very big user growth. Right now, we have more than 15K of active users with downloads that have gone beyond 200,000, and it goes very well up to now. So we believe this is a very big problem that in the next couple of years will be addressed by other startups as well. And we want to be one of them that we will succeed in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas. And I'm a happy user of a-quant. I downloaded the app and gave it a go. Actually, it's really impressive how much accurate some of these signals can be and how it can help a retail investor, no matter how much money you want to invest. You get the signal and you get ideas for stocks that you don't even know. Like I invested in this flowers, I think it was. Nova, yes. I never came across this stock before, and I did a little bit of research, but it was all there. Like, yeah, it was kind of magic to me. It was right in front of me. I didn't have to do any of the digging, so yeah, I strongly suggest that at least give it a go and test it out for yourselves. It's really good.
Thank you very much, Dimitris.
My pleasure, Thomas. Okay, and last but certainly not least, Aleksandra, maybe you can share your presentation as well. Thank you.
So my name is Aleksandra Šćepanović, and I'm coming from Novi Sad, from Serbia. I would like to thanks to the organizer for having us today here with you. We are working in a PaySpot payment institution because in Serbia, beside banks and post offices, payment business can perform payment operations institutions and e-money institution. It started 5 years ago, where the law on payment operations came into the Serbia. We are not the UN member yet, but we hope to be one day. But all the regulations are very similar, like in European Union. So we started as a payment institution in 2016. We received the license from the central bank. And after that, each year we grow our business, adding new products and services. So currently we are dealing our business to the representative office, to the legal entity, through legal entities and entrepreneurs. In Serbia, we have more than 700 legal entities that is dealing with us, and they are actually network, sales point network. We have more than 1.5 thousand of sales points where the private individual or legal entity or company can come and pay their monthly bills or cash deposits or cash withdrawal with their payment card, etc. After these services, we introduced RIA, Golden Crown, and now we're in the process with the Union China Pay money transfers because Serbian people has a lot of relatives abroad, so it is very, very good used. And we start dealing with global companies for the tax-free, refundants. So these are main core business currently. As per Serbian law, payment institution also can deal with loan business. So we are currently in process of licensing with the central bank for small loan tickets. For the private individuals, this is short-term loans. So this is our main focus for next period, as well as to receive the license from the central bank to become an e-money institution, where we can definitely then take more this internet e-commerce payments and send money abroad and issue wallets and other activities that comes to the new ways of payment. So we are very interested in knowing and getting information from other e-money institutions and colleagues that have this kind of experience worldwide. So what we are dealing with is actually that in Serbia, the QR code payments are very well established and very well used. So this is some kind of the future. As well as we have much interest in e-commerce payments from startups and from SMEs, because banks in Serbia are, big bank groups, so they're not so flexible. So definitely e-money institutions in Serbia are based in the sense that there is a lot of business for the SMEs, but banks are not willing to follow them or participate. So we see our opportunities here to prepare them tailor-made solutions for their, web shops, marketplaces, internet payments, and etc. And our plans is when we become institution of e-money to open account not only for private individuals that we do now, but also for the SMEs, corporate clients and entrepreneurs, and to perform their business through the e-commerce services mostly. And maybe in the next period to start with the card business and to be issuing and acquiring e-money institution. Our latest, this is our digital roadmap, how we started and what are our plans for the next period. So when we receive the e-money institution, hopefully in following quarter, then we will start with promoting and delivering service payment platforms for our clients, because our parent company is Fintech IT. So we have our own IT resources that mixed with our knowledge and experience from the payment business, we think that it can be very well used further, first on Serbian market and then abroad. What we are dealing now is actually that we are starting with the new solution for the marketplaces, where you have XY sub-merchants on one place and buyers on the other place. So we as a payment institution are somewhere in this business model, because banks are not interested to prepare tailor-made solutions and to distribute this money to the XY sub-merchants. They're dealing mostly with the classic web shops. So we are prepared the business model, which is done for the one big corporate client, but we are not dealing only with the card payments and e-commerce. In that sense, we are preparing the whole payment business for them, because the buyers can pay through the card, but they also can make cash payments or online payments, via bank transfers. So we are, as a payment facilitator, providing to the corporate client and his marketplace the whole solution for the payments that are made on the internet. So, but as you see, there are a lot of, in this business model, that there are a lot of, steps and participants, marketplace, sub-merchants, buyers, payment gateway, bank acquire, and payment scheme, of course, card organizations. So actually our role in this business model for marketplace is when we receive the money from the bank acquirer for the card payments, then we, in accordance with the instructions of marketplace, we distribute the money to the sub-merchants, the provision for the marketplace, our provision for payment gateway, and so we actually act as a payment facilitator in this scenario. And our, next plan is when we become the institution of e-money, to short the list of the participants that are present in this model, and then we can actually deal without the bank acquirer. We will have our own license, so definitely we will be more flexible and we can propose and offer tailor-made solutions for our market. So currently in Serbia, there is still a lot of cash payments. We are dealing with, in Serbia, which has something above 7 million citizens. We perform 1.5 million of payment orders per month in cash, mostly. But definitely there are a lot of new laws and regulations that are moving toward the digital. So we expect from Corona actually period, where e-commerce raised a lot in Serbia also, we expect to find ourselves in that field as well. So this is for from Serbia, from PaySpot.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Aleksandra. And maybe if I can just also spend 1 minute, not more, just to introduce myself as well. Name is Dimitris Litsikakis. I'm part of the deVere group. We do pretty much everything from investments to payments, transactions, wallets. So it's very difficult to kind of find a niche market and kind of nail it down, especially when you work in different jurisdictions. So I was very interested to hear about your journey and your kind of plan to become an e-money institution. And I know for a fact that in the EU, it's very difficult to get an e-money license, as we were talking offline, let's call it like that. So what is the process in Serbia, actually? How long does it take, and how can we compare this to other European jurisdictions?
Well, it is the similar, but how to say, totally different. In Serbia, for example, you need to have the capital 350,000 euro for the foundation of the e-money institution. And you with this license, you can issue e-money, but you can do other payment services as well. You can do loan business, you can card-to-card payments, payment orders, and everything else. The regulation says that the central bank has 3 months to decide for if all the documents are fine and accepted, and you need to prepare the whole organization for this kind of license, meaning that you need to have all the procedures from anti-money laundering, for account opening, for IT solution for this money issuing, all the other license that you need to have for this to prove to the central bank that you are able to perform this business. It doesn't last 3 months. It is even more, because no company probably in one try actually receive the license from the central bank. But it depends, from which business are you coming. We are in PaySpot. We are former bankers. I don't know how many years in total of banking experience. But we are performing as a payment institution, so we have the knowledge for payment accounts, for payment business. We have all these procedures, anti-money laundering, fraud issues, and everything else. So definitely we expect to receive it in a month or two, speaking from today. But definitely it is a similar process like for receiving license for payment institution, but otherwise, much more topics need to be covered from anti-money laundering perspective and from fraud perspective as well.
Sure. Okay. Thoma and James, you have a slightly different approach, right? Because you are not a licensed entity. So tell us more about your decision not to pursue that avenue and stay, on a different kind of approach. Thoma, maybe you can start.
Yes. Even if you have the knowledge and the tools and everything, the regulatory environment, especially in Europe, is very difficult. And if we compare this to the regulatory environment with the United States, it's totally different. In the United States, there are things like if you want to have a financial institution that does FX transactions, is much more easier to get a license than to get it, for example, here in Greece. Here in Greece, if I remember well, the average time to get a simple, not banking license, a finance license, for example, to have some FX exchange shops in the airports or in other touristic places, you have to spend around 1.5 years in order to get a license. I believe that's unacceptable. It's too much. And of course, it favors a lot the incumbents in this kind of business. I'm not sure how much time does it take to do the same thing in other European countries, but I don't know many European countries that are much better than Greece. Okay, maybe a little bit better, but it's not such a difference. In the contrary, in UK, where there's a different jurisdiction, not because of Brexit, but it was always a different jurisdiction, and we could say more financial applications friendly, let's say that. It's much easier, you know, to get some kind of licenses. For example, the same license could be issued in 6 months, 5-6 months, when here in Greece it takes 1.5. I believe that this must be addressed somehow. As far as I know, European Union tries to make some things on that, but I don't know if they want, you know, to get involved with the national central banks, who are or the regulators. It's very difficult. It could be much easier, and I believe it would be very nice and very cost-effective for the average people, because these are the people who pay the price. Okay, that's what I think.
Exactly. All right, and maybe James, you can tell us more about licensing in Malta.
Yeah, I mean, licensing in Malta is not different than any other European jurisdiction. So it still takes a lot of time, of course, to get the license, and you have to go have all the right processes, so on and so forth. But I actually I really agree with what my colleague here was saying, because it takes time to actually get the license, which means that it takes time to bring an innovative product to the market, right? So the time to market is actually very slow, and this is a thing where we actually, why we also built Fyorin, why we actually went down the route of, and we took us 2 steps back and said, like, okay, if everyone now is getting the license, and everyone's getting the license to focus on a particular vertical within the payments value chain. Maybe some are getting the license to actually focus on card issuing, some on IBANs, for example, so on and so forth. But in reality is that the market is very much fragmented. At the end of the day, if you look at the business side of things, as a business, you are faced with a choice out there. A lot of players are offering the same products or very similar, right? And they have to deal with a fragmented market, which means that they have to interact with a lot of different financial institutions. And they end up having a lot of treasury issues, because they have treasury across multiple financial institutions. Reconciliation is also very, it's a pain. And if you are a big company, you have technology, you can actually combine all the automation. But if you are a small business, and particularly the S or the M of the SMEs, it is a challenge, because you don't have technical resources. Now, at the end of the day, all of these, financial institutions or whoever wants to get an EMI license, they want to actually improve an experience, right? So if you look at financial institutions that already have a license, that they already invested a lot time and energy, not just to acquire SMEs, but also to develop their processes, their transaction monitoring. They're excellent in what they're doing when it comes to their core product. So what if these capabilities can actually be leveraged by other financial institutions, or maybe by other companies that they want to work on the experience, or making the experience more frictionless for SMEs? So that means that you can bring now to the market faster product, right? And you don't have to take the risk, because someone else who is actually, it's their core service, right, is actually taking the risk for that particular service. So that's the way how we're seeing it. So we've built a platform so that we can enable financial institutions to move faster and go to the market very, very, very faster, and still be, of course, compliant.
Yeah. So this keyword platform, I'm very interested to listen and hear more about it, because to me, I think banks, in order to be more, efficient and to be relevant really in the new era, they have to transform from a typical banking institution into a platform. And I think to them, this is a major culture change, and there's so much resistance internally. So what I would like to ask you, James, what are the main challenges on building a platform such as yours, like Fyorin, and how do you overcome these challenges?
Yeah. So, I mean, like every other platform, the challenge is, of course, validating that this platform actually, makes sense, right? Validating also with financial institutions. And one way of how we're working with is that we actually, when we are building this network of financial institutions on our network scheme, one way of how we're actually approaching this is that we're actually going directly to SMEs. So we're going directly to SMEs, and we actually help them to realize the benefit that they can actually, through one platform, they can bank with multiple banks at the same time as if they're banking with one. And then we went to financial institutions. And the financial institutions then start to realize, okay, so I have an existing SME, which is, they are using my core services. But if I actually offer them my core services, but also other complementary services, I can actually create more product stickiness. So the idea is not to take the SME away, but to actually create more product stickiness. And I give an example. So for example, a small bank, they have a network of SMEs. They can maybe offering them 3 or 4 currency corridors. All of a sudden now, through our platform, they can actually offer them over 40 different currency corridors, right? Or they can also offer them the ability, to white label the solution and offer them ERP integrations, which is something that every business actually needs to. So these are things that banks and the other financial institutions can see then more value into it because they can create more product stickiness. And they can actually say like, okay, they were not afraid that our businesses, our assets are going to move away now, but they're going to stay with us because we're offering them this ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, James. And you touched upon white labeling. And I think this is something that some payment institutions have really missed as an opportunity because they focus so much on their product and on the B2C market and focus on the growth, but they miss the bigger picture. So, Thomas, over to you. You guys have the B2C app that we've seen before, but you also provide services as a B2B platform. Again, platform is the keyword here. How do you do that? And do you also provide the white label solutions?
Yes, actually we do provide the white label solutions because to say the truth, the B2B market is much more easier than the B2C market. B2C market is very hard when you go directly to the retail client, especially when you have to compete in advertising with very, very big competitors like Revolut, Wise, with very, very big budgets. It's always much more easier, to go and to build some kind of partnerships with some bigger institutions, some brokers who already operate in many countries, have some 100,000 of clients. So it is much easier, and I guess it's strategically wiser, to always focus on your very big strengths. And our big strength is not how you win over retail clients. Our very big strength is building models for trading, for investing, for FX transactions, for trading various kinds of assets. So usually, except if you be lucky to get funded with ridiculous amounts of money, like some other companies, very good for them, then you have to go and focus, especially where you can make a difference and not, going to compete in some plain field. You need to do something like a guerrilla warfare because this is where your strengths are usually. So yes, of course we go to the B2B market. B2C is actually, it serves 2 strategies. The first strategy, to show, to get some clients directly and get some money from there, some revenues. But the main thing is to show to other potential partners of what we can do and potentially what we could do together. So, yeah, absolutely, the B2B market is more easier market for us, not all for us, for technology companies like us. It's very difficult, to build only on the technology stack and to build everything, distribution, everything. It can be done, but it's very difficult. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Just to remind everybody that you can submit your questions through Slido. If you're here or watching us online, you can, just type it there, and it will magically appear on this screen, so I can present it to our speakers. So back to you, Aleksandra. I've noticed that on your roadmap you have e-insurance. So I've seen this trend of super apps, right? And it's becoming, again, like a platform that doesn't only provide a wallet and you can move money and you can do FX, but also start to integrate more services. How do you find this concept, and how easy it is to actually convince people to start doing more and more of their daily life through your app?
Well, this is our plans for the future, because we saw it. We have a good current cooperation with insurance companies and banks, and somehow we see the opportunities is building these partnerships with this kind of financial institutions and selling their products and services through our channels. Currently, our channel is big network of our representatives, which is very, very, very spread toward the whole Serbian market. But this is how we came up to this idea, through the new channels to continue with the business that we currently have with the physical presence and identity. So to continue with the products and services that clients are used to, but to use it to the new channels, definitely.
And I'm also interested to know more about the cash payments that you mentioned, because Greece used to be a cash country as well, and there were two major events that changed everything. First of all, capital controls, a very painful experience for Greeks back in 2015, where we couldn't really withdraw more than 60 euros per day from your account, and you couldn't send any money abroad, so really tough. And number two, COVID, of course. How do you deal with cash payments if you are an e-money institution and you are promoting digital? Is it more like trying to switch them, or kind of facilitate these cash payments in a way?
No, this is for the cash payments. This is the population that we are expecting 10 to 20% maybe just to move to the digital channels. But why those people are using the cash? This is their habit as they used to do it. In Corona period, our actually business turnover doubled with the cash payments. Why? Because the strategy for banks in Serbia is to close their branches, but the people in Serbia are not still, prepared for this. So yes, there is a big effect on Corona on digital also increasement of the usage and users, but not still in that percentage which our figures in our business show us. So definitely, money institution is for us a chance to start working much more with the legal entities and entrepreneurs through their money accounts. And definitely for the new generations which are used to the digital service, for the travelers and citizens that are paying abroad, and especially for the e-commerce purposes. So, but they are totally different population. This is a payment institution, and this cash payments will probably still be our core business in the next 2 or 3 years. But after that, we will see what will be, the e-money institution or the regular payment institution. What will be the better.
It does take time to change.
Definitely, there are still a lot of cash in the business, so banks are moving from it. And this is where our clients come to us, because we have presence over 1,500 places in Serbia. So definitely, and this is not our branches. We are doing this through our representative offices,
like a
which are
franchisee.
different legal entities and entrepreneurs, different companies than ours. So we don't have these fixed costs for serving those branches. So this is also some kind of partnership actually between the payment institution and our legal representatives.
Sure.
So.
Okay, thank you, Aleksandra. Back to you, Thomas. You gave us a very tangible example of how machine learning can be used in order to help the girl or the boy next door, right? The retail investor, to maximize the return on their investment. So my question to you today is, what do you think will be the biggest trend in AI for financial services in the future?
Okay. First of all, we believe that AI is not just a trend, and it goes and disrupts all kinds of industries, from consumer, from retail, and of course banking and finance, where in banking and finance, the good thing about machine learning and AI applications is that you have a lot of data, and now you have also the processing power to process this kind of data. I believe that the main trend that we have seen, especially in finance, and it's going to accelerate, is what we call democratization on finance, which means that many tools, data, processes, knowledge, transparency will be available to the common user, and something that it was not the case just a couple of years ago. For example, right now, a user, without too much sophistication and without too many costs, can go seek and use tools in order to invest to various assets. And this is going to accelerate, especially after the pandemic, which makes the business to skyrocket. The Robinhood phenomenon in the US, now it's also coming here in Europe. It's also a reality in Asia, even though Chinese authorities try, to regulate more the thing and to try to control it. The Robinhood, the Reddit phenomenon.
Yep.
So the rise of the individual, of the financial individual, investor, trader, more aware of trading, investing. I believe this is going to be the case, and in this case, machine learning will go down to the masses and will help a lot all of these people, to make much better decisions. Because right now, tools that used to be not accessible to the common people, they have become accessible. So this is some kind of democratization. This is power to the people. But of course, there's going to be a lot of volatility and this kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think this is an amazing example of how money and technology is also giving you purpose. I love that word, democratization, and I think this is also very relevant to the three words that you picked up for this forum. And I think it's the best way to wrap up this panel by asking James, what is the purpose behind Fyorin, empowering SMEs, and what else is, what else is there, how to give back to the community and to,
Yeah, our purpose is very simple. We want to make business banking frictionless and seamless, as if you are sending an email. That is our vision. We believe that at the moment, business banking is hard at all levels. It's also very fragmented, especially with doing business internationally. And what we've seen now with COVID, digitalization has been also brought forward, like certain things. But at the same time, it also elevated certain problems. So if you are today, as a business, you need to actually start trading more outside of your zone, right? So, which means that you have to deal with different currencies, with different financial institutions. And they are offering at the moment a one-size-fits-all solution. So that's what we're actually looking to change. We're looking to actually provide seamless business banking by offering also tailored business banking. And we believe that financial institutions are in the best position to actually do that, because they already have a network of SMEs, they actually build a trust with the SMEs and vice versa, which is very, very crucial for any business. And we want to be, you know, the enabler for them to make that happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, alternative finance at its best. Thank you very much.